The erroneous choices of Jacob in his youth clearly illustrate how unethical decisions and a lack of patience early in life can generate a chain of consequences that lasts a lifetime. His deceitful actions against his own family planted the seeds for what he would later harvest. Disrespectful and cunning behavior. Jacob exploited the weakness and thoughtlessness of his twin brother, Esau, to buy the birthright, which included a double inheritance and the spiritual leadership position in the family, for a mere bowl of lentil stew. Jacob exhibited calculation and opportunism when he saw Esau exhausted and hungry. Instead of helping, he proposed an unfair exchange. This action demonstrated a lack of respect for the sacred value and rights of the firstborn son ordained by God. It shows that Jacob coveted the promised blessing but used the wrong means to achieve it. Stealing the blessing. This was his most serious act of deception. When his father, Isaac, was old and visually impaired, Jacob and his mother, Rebekah, plotted to steal the special firstborn's blessing from Esau. Jacob disguised himself, using goatskins to cover his hands and neck and wearing Esau's clothing to deceive his father. Jacob took advantage of his father's blindness and trust to unjustly seize what did not belong to him. This act caused deep and violent resentment in Esau's heart, who subsequently vowed to kill his brother after their father's death. The price of deception. To save his life from Esau's wrath, Jacob was forced to leave home and seek refuge in Haran, at the house of his maternal uncle, Laban. Family separation. This was the immediate price of his deception. Jacob lost his parents' protection, had to live a lonely, exiled life, and faced an uncertain future. This marked the beginning of 20 years of wandering and hard labor he had to endure. This journey laid the groundwork for Jacob, the deceiver, to soon be deceived by his own relative, Laban, for many years, creating a chain of cause and effect. You reap what you sow. The deception of Laban began after Jacob fled his home due to his deceitful actions against his brother and father, seeking refuge with his uncle Laban in Haran. It was in this very sanctuary that he had to experience the feeling of being deceived, similar to how he had treated his own family, marking the beginning of 20 years of arduous and difficult labor. Laban's treachery, the marriage transaction. Jacob was deeply in love with Rachel, Laban's beautiful younger daughter. He agreed to work for Laban for 7 years in exchange for the right to marry her. The Bible records that those 7 years passed as only a few days because of his love. When the 7-year term ended and the wedding took place, Laban took advantage of the darkness of night and local custom, or the traditional veil, to secretly substitute his elder daughter, Leah, who had weak eyes and was unloved by Jacob, into the bridal chamber in place of Rachel. The next morning, Jacob was stunned to discover he had been tricked. When he complained, Laban excused himself, citing, "It is not our custom here to give the younger daughter in marriage before the older one." Laban's deceit not only took the wife Jacob desired but also prolonged the time he had to endure his uncle's control and exploitation. To marry Rachel, Jacob was forced to accept Laban's new condition. He had to work for another 7 years. In total, Jacob served Laban for 14 years just to marry the 2 daughters. In the following years, Laban continuously changed Jacob's wages, bringing the total time Jacob labored arduously at his uncle's house to 20 years. This was a long period of oppression, exploitation, and living in injustice. Jacob returned with a complicated polygamous family, including 4 women, 2 wives and 2 concubines, leading to rivalry and jealousy between Leah and Rachel, and creating deep internal conflicts that persisted into the next generation of children. Reaping what was sown. Jacob deceived his father by exploiting his blindness and the darkness of night. Laban deceived Jacob by exploiting the darkness of night and local custom. Jacob, who had fraudulently claimed the birthright, was now forced by Laban to marry the elder daughter, Leah, first. His deceit against his brother and father had returned to haunt him at the hands of another relative. Through the experience of being mistreated by Laban, Jacob deeply understood the suffering and injustice endured by the one who was deceived. 20 years of exile, exploitation, and loneliness was the heavy price he had to pay for his lack of patience and unethical choices in his youth. The late repentance and efforts for atonement, the Jabbok River incident, began when, after 20 years away, Jacob decided to return home and had to confront the ultimate fear regarding the delayed consequences of his youth, the encounter with Esau. Jacob received news that Esau was approaching with 400 men. He was terrified, dividing his family and possessions into two camps, praying fervently, and sending large gifts to appease his brother. This action demonstrated his belated remorse for having stolen the birthright and the blessing. The wrestling match at the Jabbok River incident, this was the peak of his repentance and atonement. On the night before meeting Esau, Jacob wrestled with a man, understood to be an angel or God himself, until daybreak. In this spiritual and physical struggle, Jacob refused to let go until he was blessed. Jacob was renamed Israel, meaning he struggles with God, but he received a permanent mark, a dislocated hip, a physical price to pay, and an unforgettable reminder of the struggle and mistakes of the past. Forgiveness and the price to pay. Ultimately, Esau forgave Jacob. God also granted forgiveness and blessing, fulfilling the promise to establish a great nation, Israel, through him. However, forgiveness did not completely erase the heavy price Jacob had to pay: family separation, 20 years away from home, living in deception and hardship. Family conflict. A polygamous family with numerous conflicts between wives and children, leading to the later tragedy of Joseph being sold into slavery. Physical mark. The dislocated hip, a painful reminder for the rest of his life. Jacob's erroneous choices in youth created a chain of cause and effect, forcing him to endure deceit and hardship for many years. Though late repentance can still bring forgiveness and restoration, it is often accompanied by losses and a high cost in time, relationships, and lasting sorrow. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on new content.